I won't say I'm disappointed. I think, as I said in Centurion, I felt definitely there was an opportunity for Pakistan to extend a good position. So I'm always very happy about that. I'm not disappointed that they're not using those opportunities. But once again, I can say the same thing. You know, it was an opportunity for them to get back into the test match on yesterday. They batted really well. The pitch flattened out. Great opportunity for them to get 100, 150 runs on the scoreboard and then try and see what happens on the last 2 days. So fortunately for us, once again, we managed to get that little sniff that they had there to get themselves back into the test match. Did really well after tea, getting nine wickets. I think it was 8 or 9 wickets after tea. So that has to boil down to us using opportunities and making sure that we don't let the opposition get back into the test match.
But for you, congratulations, you guys won 7 successful home series, and KG spoke yesterday about making home a fortress. Is that the mindset? Is that when you go out there, is that the entire start of what you want to achieve at home?
Yeah, definitely. I said it before the test match that not too long ago we were number 7 in the world and we lost a few series and we didn't play as well as we liked. And the first thing we said, you know, make sure that, you know, home matches or home series we need to take care of them. We need to play really well and we need to be very consistent because when you go overseas it is very tough, as it is for us as much as it is for Pakistan coming here. And therefore lies a challenge of becoming better and touring as well. But it's definitely a home series needs to be a fortress, especially Newlands has been probably the front runner in that. So we take a lot of pride in that and very happy that the way that we dominating teams at the moment in South Africa.
So when you talk of another series weekly, does talk of all the pitches and all that, you just put it behind you and get on with the job?
Yep, definitely. As I said, we are a team that focuses on being mentally tough. I feel that's where the majority of things going away and things not going away gets won or lost. So for us, it's about fronting up to whatever challenge is in front of you, because if you're mentally ready to go, whatever happens out there, you're mentally stronger. So whatever comes our way, whatever pitch comes our way, whatever conditions, we want to make sure that we're the stronger team mentally.
Just following on from that, is it not a worry when you do go overseas, then you talked before the test match, some of the younger batsmen might struggle to establish themselves playing in conditions like this? Aren't you worried that when they go overseas, it's maybe a lack of confidence playing in test cricket?
Well, there's both ways. You can look at both ways. This test match, if Pakistan batted well yesterday, today and tomorrow would have been good batting wickets. So yesterday was a great opportunity. As I said, if we batted yesterday, there would have been some big runs on the scoreboard yesterday because the wicket did flatten out. The ball was soft. It was tough on day 2, but we scored close to 400 runs. So although it is very, very tough on younger guys trying to make their name in the game, it is still possible to score runs. And I think that you'll get a lot more up here when you can make that switch. And that's for overseas as well, because when you get to overseas conditions and you're expecting flat pitches, it doesn't happen anymore. Cricket is not the same as it used to be 4 or 5 years ago when there's 400s and 500s being scored all the time. You look right around the world, possibly now for the first time in Australia it happened, because the ball wasn't swinging, it was going straight, you know. So now the pitches are flat and they're scoring runs. South Africa, the ball does move. You know, it is seeming friendly pitches. The pace of the game has moved a lot quicker. Batsmen are not just batting at 2.2 or 2.3 and over. So test matches are moving so quickly, and as a player, you have to move with it. We never ever ask for ridiculous pitches. We just ask for pitches with a bit of pace and bounce. So when there is a bit of sea movement and a bit of pace and bounce, you have to adapt your game. Tembo is a great example. He scored 2 test matches in a row now on tough pitches. He scored runs. It shows you that it's possible if you apply yourself mentally and you've got a technique. Then there's a way.
Well, that is
Thank you.
just something critics like Kevin Peterson having a go at Timber Bavuma not scoring enough hundreds. Just there's not many people scoring hundreds in South Africa. Just the value you put in the team, you know, the contribution that he puts in, especially when the team's struggling and needs to contribute.
Yeah, Temba will be the first guy to tell you that he's with over his career, he has got himself in a few opportunities where he could have gotten 100, or where the wickets were good enough to cash in on some hundreds. So he's a very motivated cricket player. So that's his progress that he wants to make. He wants to become a better player. At the moment, he's a good player, but he wants to become a better player. And in order to do that, when you get an opportunity to score 100, you need to do that, because that's what makes you the difference between averaging in the 30s and to the 40s. You know, these days, as I said, there's not many players averaging 50 in all conditions around the world. Your 40 to 45 is your great players, because test matches are a little bit shorter, pitches spin a little bit sooner in the subcontinent, ball moves a little bit more over the test match here. So Temba is definitely working on that, but the value on the runs that he scored for us as a team, I think if you look back over the last 2 or 3 years, there's a lot of very, very important innings where Temba got runs, where we were in deep trouble, and Temba got a 60 or a 70, which wasn't 100, but it won us the game.
Faf, is it fair to say that you and Otis have identified pitches as part of the game plan far more than previous South African teams?
I don't think so. I think maybe we just speak about it more openly than possibly you would have heard in the past, and I think in the media front. We open and honest about what we're thinking. As I said, any groundsman, you can ask them, our questions always to them is, has the pitch got pace and bouncing? That's all we're looking for. This pitch had pace and bouncing. Yes, it was difficult at times, but I reckon 10% of the time the ball moved. The other 90% of the time, if you applied yourself, you could score runs. Then it becomes a mental battle, as how do you manage those 10%? Do you focus on the 10% or do you focus on the 90%? So, but we don't ask for anything more than that. I think in the past, I played Test cricket 3-4 years ago. It was also, Vern has been taking 5 a year since he came out of the nappies. So it's still the same. I think we're just speaking about it a little bit more now, and also maybe because test matches are moving a lot quicker. It's not 5-day test matches anymore. This wicket probably went the other way that people expected. Everyone expected to get it worse when you're looking at the cracks, because we're not used to seeing cracks at Newlands. But actually it got, as I said yesterday, was as good of a batting day as you can get in test cricket.
Congratulations on this series win. How far are you as a side from a complete performance?
No, I think we're right up there. We said before this test match, we're looking as a unit, if there was an opportunity to get 100 in a batting unit, we want to do that. So we tick that box. Our bowlers are always on. There were some good partnerships, 100+ partnerships. So what we need to do to win test matches, we're doing that. So for me, that's enough. You're always trying to get better, and there is probably still a complete performance somewhere out there. But at the moment, yeah, this is good enough.
Faf, there was a time yesterday when we had that partnership between Shan Masood and Asad Shafiq. So what was your plan then in terms of how to get the breakthrough with the bowlers?
Yeah, as I said, it was difficult for us because I suppose for the first time really it felt like, how are we going to get wickets here, because the ball was soft. It wasn't as quick, the pitch. The short balls were like tennis ball bouncing through to the keeper. Their shot selection was good. They left well, they pulled well, ducked well. Technically they were on, they were playing really well, and there was a partnership there. But the only thing we said is if we get 1 wicket, it's tough to start on this wicket. So we were just hoping to stay with it, and when we got that wicket, obviously it proved once again that we could get more. But in a perfect world, we went at, I think, 4.4. As a bowling unit, that's not for us, that's not good enough on any wicket that we play on in the world, no matter how flat it is. So I thought it was a combination of us not bowling to our best and also Pakistan batting really, really well and applying themselves to what needed to be done on that pitch.
Faf, just back to December, I remember you saying, I think it was ahead of last year's tour to England, you saw him as a potential option at number 4. Is that a possibility? possibility moving forward with him, or is it a case of not wanting to disrupt what he's doing too much at the moment?
Yeah, I still believe that. As I said, in England, technically Temba is one of our best players when the ball's moving around, because he does play very late. He leaves very well. He's only 1'2", so it makes it easier to leave the ball. But he's got a very, very good technique. So I back him if there's an opportunity for him to go up the order and bat at number 4. We haven't had the discussions as of yet since England, because obviously England there was an opening there. But right now we haven't spoken about it again. But yeah, if it was an opportunity for Temba to do it, I know he would also want to do it. He likes the added responsibility.
So Faf said just now that he was disappointed that his bowler's pace was down. It was at the late 120s, early 130s. You played an all-pace attack and you managed to keep the bowlers managed to keep their pace up. With back-to-back tests, do you think an all-pace attack with the same 4 bowlers would work in Johannesburg?
I haven't seen that pitch, but obviously for a nice thing that we've got a few days, 1 or 2 days extra now for the bowlers to have some feet up. They bowled a lot yesterday, but over a test match period, the last 4 days, there wasn't too much overs in the legs. So I expect them to be fresh and ready to go again. But once we get to Joburg, we'll have to see what that pitch looks like. I haven't seen it since the T20 League where we played there, where it was dry and a lot of cracks. So we'll see if it's changed at all.
Faf, you mentioned earlier obviously about tests that don't last 5 days anymore, and that's not the way. How much influence do you think T20 cricketers have on that?
A lot. I'm not a very clever guy, but when it comes to stats, I think there's not a lot of test matches that's going 5 days around the world anymore, and that's definitely the batsman. The speed of play has gone up tremendously. You know, you leave a couple of balls and you feel like batsmen, they're going to come at you, they're going to play. Yesterday, as it was a great example, where opportunity for Pakistan just to bat, they went at 4.5s and over. You know, so Test cricket has evolved, and I think it's great. It's great for the fans to come in and watch. They're getting 4s, they're getting 6s, they're getting lots of wickets. Pace bowlers bowling. It's great to come and watch cricket. And I love the way Test cricket is at the moment. I think it's a change that was necessary. Test cricket for me the last 2 years has been the most exciting format of all. You always feel like every session is so important. If you just a little bit off the boil, then a Test match is gone because it moves so quickly. So I think, yeah, answer your question, T20 has been the big change in Test cricket.
Given the success of the formula, the pitch and the format post-attack, have you had reason to feel the need to reassure Keisha?
We have reassured him already before this Test match. He's probably South Africa's best spinner that we've produced, and he will be for a long time, and he knows that. It's just it's horses for courses. When we're playing against a subcontinent team that is very good against spin, and as you saw on this Test match, one of the best leg spinners in the world probably got 1 past the bat. So how much of a factor is he then really? You know, so Kesh is a great container as well. He's got dual roles in our team, so he could have played here and he could have done well as well. But it's possibly horses for courses, as I said, when you play against your Englands, your Australias, New Zealands, where spinners they're not as good against spin as the subcontinent teams are. He will be your first name on the sheet, and also when the pitches allow it for a spinner, you know, I think of P that's slow sometimes. Durban spins. It's just you look at conditions, you look at grounds, and you look what is most uncomfortable for the opposition to face. And I think in this specific instant, seam was the right call. As you saw it, you know, when a ball, 3 guys are bowling at 145, it's not fun for a batter.
Faf, we've spoken a lot about Temba, but your 100, you obviously had to work really hard for that. I know you've made some epic sort of defensive 100s, but in terms of effort, was that right up there? And then just on the conditions, you spoke about the batsmen and their confidence levels going overseas in that. But is there a danger also your bowlers just sort of becoming attuned to always getting a lot of assistance here, and then when they go overseas and
Sure.
it's not there, they couldn't.
I'll answer the bowling question first. I think for me, confidence in any sportsman around the world is probably the biggest factor. Mentally, if you're doing well, that's for me is the biggest asset to have. So I prefer our bowlers bowling, getting 4-fers and 5-fers, even if it's on bowling friendly conditions, than running in and bowling 30, 40 overs a day, getting 2 wickets, 1 wicket, blowing themselves out towards the end of the Test series. I compare it now to the Australian series. We have 500-600 being played. Bowlers are bowling all day. Our confidence in our bowling unit will be a lot higher, just purely because they're doing well, they're getting wickets, they're winning Test matches. When they go overseas, yes, we need to adapt and we need to find different ways. Obviously, looking back at Sri Lanka, there was a few mistakes we made there as a team. The ball in Sri Lanka this time around was soft. It wasn't doing any reverse swing. So our reverse swing that we did in the past didn't have any factor. So perhaps we need to look at playing more spinners when we go overseas. And that's a learning curve we went through. So bowling-wise, a confident bowling attack for me trumps everything. So that's working really well. And then personally, as I said post-match there, for me, it was a good test for me. You know, I've been batting really well the last year. Technically, I felt the best that I've felt for a very long time. And then going into a Test match where you get a pair, it's amazing how quickly you, as a human, go into that space of, oh dear, like, you know, where's my next run coming from? So for me, leading up to the Test match, I focused a lot on trying to get my head right and making sure that I'm mentally strong, and the stuff that I'm doing and saying about my game, and mentally just being really positive and reflecting on innings before where I've done well. So try and feed the positive, the glass half full rather than half empty side, because that happens, and it's amazing how quickly it happens. And I said that to AZ afterwards, like, no matter how many Test matches you've played, it happens, you know. And for me, that first run felt like it was my debut when I got off possibly a third duck. So it was great to just get that off my shoulder, but I was really strong mentally, and I focused a lot on that before the Test match. And then obviously extremely hungry to making a big performance. I feel it's important that when you speak about things in a team environment, and the stuff that myself and the coach spoke about as being really hungry for runs, and when you get an opportunity to cash in and make 100, you need to do that. And as a leader, I always believe that your actions are much better than your words. So once I got in, I was really, really determined to do whatever it takes to try and put those words into action.
You spoke about bowling workloads and management leading up to the Test, and maybe they haven't bowled as much as they could have, but it's a wonderful opportunity to rest a couple of fast bowlers.
I don't think so. No, I felt we almost against India there was an opportunity to put the nail in the coffin. We were 2-0 up in the series, and we changed our team a little bit. We tried 1 or 2 combinations, and in hindsight, it just felt like we took our foot off of the gas a little bit. You don't get a lot of opportunities to beat teams 3-0, to whitewash them. So learning from hindsight, I would say no, that we stick with our strongest team, try and make sure we keep our foot on the gas, keep playing well, keep putting Pakistan under pressure, and if that's with the 4 fast bowlers we have, then we do that.
Can you talk about Dale a little bit, some sort of difference in Dale 2 years ago to now? And Dale is 35, he's a fast bowler. Your expectations for the rest of Dale's career, however long it's going to be, because the talk will be now that he's looking at a moment in his career. What do you expect from him over the one?
I think it's so difficult when it comes to Dale to make any predictions from anyone, because he's proven all of us wrong. Even myself had some doubts about him when he had all those injuries, 2 years almost of injuries. Like in the back of my mind, I was thinking, you know, is Dale Steyn going to come back and be the Dale Steyn that we had as Dale Steyn? But then he comes back and then he proves everyone wrong. So I think it's so difficult to judge him on his age. He's a freak. He's a super athlete. He's so fit. So I think as long as he wants to play, and now mentally, if he wants to go, because his body he's so fit. You know, he was our quickest bowler yesterday on a slow pitch. And that, you know, obviously if you compare him to 2 years ago, he did it for 20 overs in a day where he bowled 145. But Dale is a smart cricketer now. He knows when to turn it on and when not to turn it on. When there's a bit of movement through the air, he does it a little bit at a little bit slower pace, and then when it's going away, he cranks it up again. So, yeah, I think as long as he wants to play, he can still play Test cricket. I think he's made it public that obviously after the World Cup, he's possibly going to pull the white ball cricket format, and then it gives him that time to rest his body and focus on Test cricket if he wants to. I haven't spoken to him about the future yet, so as of it stands now, yeah, he's going as long as he wants to. Does that answer your question?
Of course.
No, that's fine.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much.